Hi, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. I am Betsy Rafferty. I'm the principal at St. Malachy School, and joining me today in this beautiful library at St. Malachy is Miss Mary Holmes, who is our fourth grade teacher, as well as her daughter Queenie, who's a graduate of St. Malachy, now also a Malachy mom, as well as my daughter, who is pre-K at St. Malachy this year, who is here and doing a great job, staying with us way past her bedtime.
Yes.
And so she's going to be joining us today as well. So thank you again, and we're going to tell some stories.
Yes, let's get into it.
Okay, so before we sat down to talk, I asked a couple of folks who have worked with you for a long time what I should ask you today, and Liz asked me if you could name all the jobs you've had here.
Yes. Do I have to do it in a certain amount of time?
No, well, yeah.
So,
I mean, a half hour.
So my first job was a parent volunteer. From a parent volunteer to a hallway monitor, to the cafeteria cleanup lady, to a classroom aide, to the nutritionist, to the principal's assistant, to a pre-K classroom teacher, a fourth grade teacher.
All sorts of other things in between.
Yes,
okay.
while also being a mom, which is my favorite job.
Yeah. I always feel better when we frame out what we're about to do. That's how I start every meeting. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk. We're going to have a chance to talk with you, with Queenie. I'm excited to talk to you because I think your story is so inspirational. You as a human are inspirational.
Thank you.
For the last, 11 years of my life, I've been able to come and get a Mary moment anytime that I needed it. You are an energy giver. There aren't many energy givers in the world. Most people are energy takers. And so I'm just excited for the opportunity for you to share your story and give lots of people Mary moments. Tell me, do you remember your first day at Malachy?
My first day at Malachy was crazy. Queenie started kindergarten, and I cried from the time I put her little uniform on all the way up until it was time for me to leave her at the door, which I never did. Stayed the whole day.
Stayed the whole day.
Yes.
Queenie, do you remember your first day at Malachy?
I remember being lined up. What was it, like a yard out at our old
We used to gather in the mornings, and each of the students would be in their lines with their teachers at the front.
Yes, I gathered in that line over there at 11th and Master.
Yeah.
11th and Master. I think that was the best building ever.
Yeah.
It seemed a whole lot bigger when I was younger.
Because you were this big.
Now.
Yeah.
And my first day, I remember singing our creed, going through the prayers, meeting my teachers. I had Miss Allen and Miss Miriam. And I feel like they set up the core foundation of who I am today. Even down to the little stuff. Every time I spell the word friends, I think of that song on graduation day. You are my FRIEND.
Oh.
Yes, you are my friend. And I feel like that's my main memory. I actually just did a paper on that 2 weeks ago on campus.
I love that. And so you stayed, never left, dropped out for school, never left. When I got there in 2015, which I'm wearing my throwback shirt, in 2015, you were the administrative assistant, the principal's assistant. Since in that time, this is so perfect because what I was just about to talk about was in the time, I cannot right now, but Miss Alfonsi can read it to you. I watched you do all of this before I had to do all of this. Because when I met you, you had Queenie, you would have been, what, fourth grade?
Yes.
Probably. And then London was...
If you were in fourth, London was in first.
But in that time since I've known you, you went to school, got your master's from Lincoln, while continuing to work full-time as the administrative assistant, and then became the preschool teacher, went back to Lincoln again, got your master's, became the fourth grade teacher, and I feel like how did you do, one of the things that I've just been thinking about wanting to ask you is, not even getting to the how yet, but thinking about the why, like what inspired you along that journey? You were in already doing amazing things in your life, an amazing mom, great job, great school community to be a part of. What has inspired you along the way to continue to
so much over the years? I just keep adding on more things that encourage me to go back and get a higher education. One was keeping Malachy at the core. Why? I can't tell you the why on that, but one of my missions was, if I can, and this may sound cliche, but if I can educate myself, I could pour back into my community more, right? I could lead more people to just wanting better for themselves, for our parents, and then for their children. And that's what honestly gave me that drive to say, oh, I like social work, right? Let me go to school and get my bachelor's in social work. I'm already here at Malachy, but I want to do more of that social piece with our families and getting them brought in. And then to go back and get my master's in educational leadership, it was like, if I'm going to be a leader, I need to then enlighten myself on what that role looks like. So many different things that inspired me to constantly go back and educate myself. Even to this day, it's like, what else do I need to do to better support my Malachy family? I come to you with this question, like, if I do this, how is it going to benefit us as St. Malachy?
All I can think of about her being here this long is the fact that before she came to St. Malachy, she was in preschool with us as well the entire time. So
maybe I'm a stalker mom.
I'm trying to figure out what allows you to, like, what made you feel like you really wanted to be here this long. Just because now your grandchildren is here. Your children aren't even really, like, they're about to be out the door soon. Now your grandchildren is here, and now they also are experiencing having you be here. How long? Because you're going to be here until they're in 8th grade?
If that's what God wants. I forgot about that. I guess that's another thing that drove me is my kids, their foundation, knowing who I'm leaving them with. So when they were in pre-K, it was the same thing. It was like, let me see where I can be of an assistance to just let my kids see. And I thank God for that time too, because I was able to be where they are. Some people have like mom guilt, where it's like, oh, I'm dropping my kids off and I got 3 hours to spend with them once I'm done working. So I felt like if I'm there with them, I'm still contributing to just their foundation, right? Their socialization. They see mommy there. I feel comfortable. So once London was done pre-K, Queenie was here at Malachy already, and I was going between both schools. So I worked part-time at the Philadelphia Parent Child Care Center, and then I also came here. I did both. So I guess my children also contribute to just me wanting to know where they were. Was it a safe place? So
I forgot you were the director of enrollment too for a little while.
Wow,
you were the enrollment manager.
Yes, I was the principal at one time when we didn't have a principal. I took out trash.
True story. That was pre-IMS.
So any role, and I don't really look at it as roles. They were callings. They were lessons for us. And I look back at them, and all of those different titles allowed me to be who I am, right? Nothing's too hard. Nothing's too difficult. We always get through them. And we just keep packing stuff in our tool belts, right? I could take out trash. We don't really, want to see our hallways filled up with boxes.
Sure.
So I'll mop my classroom. I've done it before. Right. I could be the nurse.
I feel like because of all these roles we had as your children, we had higher expectations to stand by. And it also, even because of that, it allowed us to kind of like stray away from her nurturing, like the nurture that she provides to us, and more so lean on the staff, because it was plenty of times where I wouldn't run to her with all my problems. It became more family oriented because I would come to you guys for those things. When I failed that test, I would rather have went through that problem with you.
And set the scene for us. Okay, so it's 8th grade. To get into 8th grade, you got to take all these entrance exams. Was it at Cristo Rey?
Yes.
Okay.
So I took the exam at Cristo Rey to so that I could be enrolled there. That was the only school I wanted to get in. That was the only school I was like, I even applied to or anything. So it's like, if I didn't get into Cristo Rey, I didn't know where I was going to end up. I remember walking through Cristo Rey doors and...
Hold on, pause. It was very crucial because we just purchased a house.
Yes. And you were pregnant.
And we was like, you have to get in this school. Right. We had it all mapped out.
So the pressure was really intense. Yeah. And Mr. J knew people there. He knew like the board director there or something like that. Yeah. And it was like, okay, now the pressure is getting worse. Yeah. So it was like I really had to, I didn't want to disappoint anyone. And I walked through those doors not being 100% confident in myself. And I stared at that test and didn't fill in a bubble on that paper. And I came back home and my mom was like, how did you do? And I was like, I think I did good. I knew I didn't. I just knew I didn't do good, but she was so excited, like just singing those words. It was like, oh my gosh, I really have to get in here. And she received a call stating that I didn't pass at all. And we came back here and I really wanted to cry, but you were in the office and you was like, here, take this rosemary, go back, go take this test. Oh, the rosary. I'm gonna call it rosemary. You said take the rosary and do your prayers. Go in the next day feeling a little bit more confident. And I remember just leaving out of there and I'm like, you know what, I actually think I did good. And then I came back and my mom received a call again stating that I passed, and I went about being a student at Cristo Rey. Yeah. But I feel like St. Malachy, if it wasn't for St. Malachy just being there for me, dealing with me as a student, that I probably wouldn't have experienced Cristo Rey. I would have just explored other options. I probably would have tried Little Flower. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story. And I feel like it makes me, I feel like I get so much of that from your mom, of the like, invite, if it's not working out, invite God in. Like if you gotta lean into prayer. If things are going well, lean into prayer. If things are not going well, lean into prayer. This like trust that God is behind all of this.
Absolutely.
And what I think is so inspiring too, you know, sharing your story about getting your degree in social work, getting your degree in educational leadership, is that you were already doing that work. Like God had already put you in a position to serve others, had already put you in a position where people were looking to you for guidance around and leadership around education. I see her foot wanting to do a little, and this sort of recognition of like, I believe in myself, I believe in God, and I'm gonna, that prioritizing education of like, okay, if I'm gonna lead, I want to learn more about it. If I'm gonna be if I'm gonna support folks I want to learn more about it. And I think when I think about the sacrifices that you've made to make sure that your kids are getting the education that you want for them, and it's tying together. I don't quite have the words, but it's beautiful and it's tying together for me.
It's not finished yet, but it's like this spider web. I look at it sometimes too, and just take a step back and say, you know, where have I come from? And you look at pictures, right? That's why Life Touch is so important, because you go back and you look at these pictures or these snapshots of your life, and you're like, wow, it's all coming full circle now. And sometimes I don't agree with people staying places for generations. Like, I'm like, explore all life's experiences everywhere. But sometimes God just sits you down and say, you know, I need you here longer than a season. And for my family, it's been, you know, a wonderful ride here. And don't get me wrong, every year I'd say, this is my last year. God is going to call me somewhere else. I don't think so, because love is two. Right. And I want him to experience those same things that his sisters went through. Right. To believe in yourself wherever you go, whatever room you walk in with your head high. And I think that came from our relationship here, you know? For so many years, from 5 up until 8th grade, every single day, you're the first kid to walk through the door.
Yeah.
And you're the last kid to leave.
Right.
And that does, like, that stability of knowing, like, oh, yeah, these are professionals. They're my teachers, but they feel like my uncles and my aunts. I could turn to them, right? And we have those moments with our staff here. So
I feel like St. Malachy has become a tradition that's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
you have your daughter here now?
My kids are here. We finally have like real friends. Preschool, they don't really well, you know, we've been bouncing around a little bit. We've been to Virginia, so she's experiencing other people and like the different dynamic of other schools. And from going to a preschool out here and then a preschool out in Virginia, she's like, I love St. Malachy. And
her favorite person is Miss B.
Aww.
And I'm like, oh, she's like, I'm writing this letter from Miss B.
Oh, that's
and it just
so
was
sweet.
A's and B's on there. I love this
She
letter.
learned her A's and B's? That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, I can remember being a kid, and I learned that the cursive E is just loops. So I was like, I'm writing letters. I'm writing actually no cursive, and it was just me writing swirls on a page. That is amazing. The other thing I wanted to ask about is, in addition to being a mom who has chosen Malachy again and again, a grandma now whose own kids, and continuing to send your own kids through. You are also one of the best teachers I have ever seen teach, recipient of the IMS Impact Award. Being in your classroom is one of my favorite places to be. I would just love to hear, who are your inspirations in terms of teaching, or what do you think about when you think about teaching and what you want to do?
Yeah, oh my God. My inspirations in the classroom is one, Miss Allen is like one of my favorite educators.
Former kindergarten teacher at Malachy. Queenie
I believe she actually went to Malachy herself.
Oh, yeah.
Her mother taught here. And just watching her, the love of teaching, right? And seeing the light bulb go off in different kids' eyes when she taught. Did something to me. So she's one of my biggest inspirations. It's like, I want to give that joy to a kid, right? And my other memory of her was London. Back in the day, you couldn't have an IEP going to Catholic school.
Oh, wow.
You couldn't have an IEP.
Okay.
And London had an IEP for speech.
Okay.
Father was like, unfortunately,
oh, wow,
we can't service her.
Yeah.
And Miss Allen said, Father, let me work with her for a few months.
Wow.
And London didn't talk from kindergarten. She would tell you to the end of kindergarten, but it was like from kindergarten to second grade. But when she finally started talking in third grade, she has not held back anything that she has thought of. She's going to voice it. And I always, give Miss Allen homage to, put in that work, put in that time with my kid. And I can't say no to certain families when I see little Johnny come in and he's not where he should be. I'm like, what can I do to close that gap, right? Meet him where he is and grow him, right? I was one of those people who thought, kids should be left behind. Prior to seeing Miss Allen work with my child and meeting her where she was and, accelerating her almost. And I do the same thing with the kids that, parents entrust them into my care. And it's like we're going to get there, right? I don't care. You're going to grow beyond where you came from when I first met you. So that was like my biggest one. And then I think I try to go back and think, who was I in my past life? Right? I always try to...
That's far back. Past life.
What was my soul contract? Right? I'm one of those type people. And I talk to my ancestors. I'm kind of weird in that way.
I love it.
That kind of mold me into being like this person who wants to see growth wherever I go. What are you going to say about me when I'm gone? What are those children going to remember about me when they're no longer at Malachy? Yeah, she was tough, but that person listened and she loved me, right? Even with my kids. Because I felt like I got that with my most vulnerable baby, right? A lot of other people too, like one of my pastors, my Sunday school teacher. I could remember when I was in Sunday school, and I probably wasn't on the correct reading level either, but she worked with me before Sunday school. So when it was time to read, she took her time to make sure I could read when I got up to do prayer in church. So Miss Carolyn Wiggins, she was a big inspiration. Yeah, so many other people. And I think back, I went to public school as a kid, and I'm like, wow, I didn't have teachers who really believed or looked like me. That was another big thing. So me looking at my kids, I'm like, wow, they get to see a very well-rounded, successful Black woman that they could say really believed in me. My mom believed in me, and I know a Miss Mary who believes in me. So it's those little things that, you know, keep you coming back, waking up in the morning and it not feeling like you're coming to work. Like, kids coming to school and like, Miss Mary, it doesn't feel like school. I'm like, because school, that's the name of it.
Right.
But we're here to experience just everything, us growing together, us building relationships together. Tell your mom to come on in too. Mom was sad this morning. Tell her come in tomorrow morning so we can have this conversation and get to a happy place. I mean, I can give you a story about a whole bunch of different kids, right? Over the years who still come back to this day and was like, you know, Miss Mary, Kenya. Kenya is in 12th grade, and she's like, can you guys help me narrow down my college choices? And she showed us 3 schools, and she has all full scholarships to all 3 schools.
I feel like personally, as an alumni, we should have
an alumni day.
Yes, an alumni day, because it's like so many friends that I still talk to and previous graduates that I still see that's like, dang, I wish we could really go back and say Malachy.
They stop by all the time.
We stop by so much, and we all still be wanting that moment to just come back. It's like, dang, I have kids now. Some of my friends have kids now. It's like, I would really want to be able to be in that gym room again.
So special,
Share, and I have a question for Queenie. Like, how has Malachy remained at the core during your path? Like, even like, say if you had hiccups or you deviated from my mom's path, I guess, how has Malachy stayed at the core for you, or what we instill in kids here?
Malachy is the core for me because whenever I go through a barrier, hit a hiccup, or I'm going through a certain challenge in life, I can always come back to Malachy so that I can get a raw, uncut, and unfiltered, like, true statement of what it is that I need to do moving forward. I want my kids to also be able to have that, because grandma's going to tell them whatever, you know, she's going to let us know certain things, but it's different when you hear it from people that's not in the household. And because this has been my life, like, I've been here all my life. Malachy is all I remember. Malachy is all I know. My friends was only at Malachy. I never had friends outside of Malachy. So when I see certain people now today, it's like, oh, wow, I need to go to Malachy. I cannot get what I need from certain people because they don't know my story. Malachy knows exactly what happened to Queenie, why Queenie is the way she is, and how we can help her get back on track. I came here multiple different times with multiple different stories. I had so many hiccups and and what I can say is that I would not be currently at LaSalle, majoring in criminal justice, able to speak to certain people, work on my emotions, and persevere through all of those situations if it wasn't for Malachy being here.
It's a strong foundation. To live in the neighborhood and the kids are not in the neighborhood is like real crazy, right? Because everything that you need is here. You know, it was safer for my children to grow up here playing in our playground, right? Versus being out in the neighborhood with so many different distractions.
I don't know. When I used to step out into different neighborhoods and go to their playgrounds, it's like, oh, you think you better than us, or like you have more than us, if that makes sense. So it was like
that was like the stigma, like,
yes.
oh, you have to be in a certain class to go to private school. And that was a big thing for us too. Like, no, everybody can afford Malachy. Remember, that was like a campaign for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I'm wearing this shirt to let you know I'm not a millionaire. Yeah, I might have to work 2 jobs because I was a single parent back then, where I knew I wanted to have them in a place where I believe they were going to get what they needed academically, socially, spiritually. So it was a campaign for me in my beginning years, telling my neighbors, no, you can also come to Malachy, right? There's help. Call. We can have a conversation and share with you different resources. No, your child doesn't have to be a genius, right? They'll become a genius when they leave here. So that was like my beginning campaign too, where people thought you had to be from a certain background to attend a Catholic school. Even with our own family, it was like, oh, do you think you're better than us because your kids are at a Catholic school? Like, no, send them to Catholic school too.
Yes.
I don't care if they're Muslim or, you know, different religious backgrounds. You know, we welcome all religions here. That was, I want to say that was in our early years, a big campaign to bring people in. And folks felt good to, you know.
Yes, I feel like she even campaigned to get muffins here. Because
you live in King of Prussia right now.
I live in Pottstown, past King of Prussia. I'm about 30 minutes past King of Prussia, and I still drive here every day. I don't care if she's going to be late. I don't care if she walked through these doors at 10 a.m. We're going to get here, and you're going to...
As her grandmama, I do not recommend that.
You know? And Muffins be so upset because she's like, Mom. I'm like, listen, we're about to move. We're going to move a little bit closer. You're going to be getting to school on time. But for right now, we're going to thug it out because we're St. Malachy Proud. And I feel like before I even got Muffins, like knew Muffins was going to come here, I had a conversation with my mom and I'm like, I don't know, Muffin's a little defiant. I'm not confident with Muffin's going to St. Malachy. And here go my mom campaigning. We take all types of children. Come as you are. It's like, so now Muffins is here and Muffins love it. And it's like, I'm mad I even had those little doubts in my head because I'm just like, we're invested in these children. These children is going to grow up and be something great. Yeah.
Because, of course, you know, she was a typical 4-year-old who didn't know her letters and didn't know her numbers. And I'm telling you, it's November and she's in the car. She does drop-offs. I do pickups. She has her book open. She's tracing her name. She wants to come home and show you, you know, Miss Blue. Miss Blue, like the color of the sky. It's something every day. And she takes pride in what she's learning. Now she can count to 20.
She's doing great.
She hasn't been sent to the office. She can sit there and sit through a lesson for 20 minutes, right? And that's where that belief comes in, right? You got to speak positivity over your kids, right? And the kids that we serve.
That is so beautiful. I mean, it has been such a pleasure to talk and share stories today. I know that we could go on for hours because we often do. A merry moment can be a merry couple hours. But it has been so good. So thank you for being up for this. Thank you for anyone who has joined us. And thank you to IMS for the opportunity to share some of these stories. And I just... I'm so grateful. I couldn't do this working mom journey without you, Mary.
We understand. Like, we do it all. Even while parenting, you know, going through certain stuff, we're going to get the job done.